Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel's Making with Marilyn. Now I do all things crafty, but on today's video I'm going to show you how I made this cute bling shirt. So if you're interested in seeing how I put this all together, keep watching the video. Alright, let's go ahead and look at what I'm going to use today, and of course I will give you more information through the video when I'm actually using these, but very quickly let me show you what I'm using. And then also for a lot of these things, I'll have links in the video description in case you're interested. So the first thing is, I'm going to use some really pretty bling. And I get my bling from the Baby's Booty. Again, as we go through this and I'm using it, I'll talk more about that. Then for today's template, I'm going to use actual rhinestone flock, and I'll cut it on my Cricut. Now once I have the template cut out, I'll go ahead and stick it down to one of these chopping mats that you can get at the Dollar Tree store. And then once I've filled the template with rhinestones, I'll pick the stones up with some transfer tape. Now this has to be hot fix transfer tape. Now if all the circles don't easily come out of my template, I'm going to use an extra sticky lint roller. And then of course, I'm going to put it on a shirt. Now I went ahead and cut out my template. And this is really the part that I get nervous about because I have not even peeked to see how well it cut. So let's go ahead and do that. So I cut without the back on. You can cut with the white backing on, or you can take it off. And I have had more success with taking the white backing off. Oh, if it cut well, they should show up. There they are. And that looks like it did pretty good. I can see there's some holes left, or some circles left. But all in all, I am thrilled with this result. Now, one thing, I do use a nice mat that I reserve just for rhinestone templates. Because if your mat isn't real sticky, it is harder to get this to peel up and have these stay on here. At least that's what I have found. Maybe that's not true for everyone, but that's just been my experience. Now this is really not hard to clean off. I have this little scraper and they really come off pretty easily. So what I do is I just kind of scrape them all up to the top of the mat, and then I hold my mat over a big trash can and I just scrape them off into the trash can. But you can see that wasn't bad. Now, because there's barely any circles left, I'm just going to pick these out with my fingers. That is not a big deal. If I had a bunch left in there, I'd use that lint brush. So I think they're all out. Let's go ahead and put this on that chopping mat. Now, I forgot to tell you at the beginning a couple of the most important things I needed. One is this little paint trim brush. That's going to allow me to get my stones into the template. And then one's this little rhinestone picker tool. This helps me maneuver my rhinestones. So for my design today, I'm going to use these black diamond rhinestones for the word wonder. And then I'm going to use the crushed ice AB for not all who are lost. So I think the way I'll approach this is I'll go ahead and do the not all who, I'll fill that in, then I'll fill in the wonder, and then I'll come down here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put some stones up here. Now this does not take very many stones because it's just a single line. I'm just going to go in circular motions, try to get those holes filled in. And then once I think I'm pretty well done with that, I'll move the excess rhinestones off and I'll just push them up to the top. And the reason I'm doing it in that order instead of doing everything in this color first, so up here and down here, is if I did that, then I'd kind of be trapped in here with my other rhinestones. All right, so let's move off the extra ones and see what work we need to do to get things fixed. I just pushed too hard and dragged some out of the holes. Usually I just kind of let the weight of the brush do the work, and I got a little too aggressive. So that's what that rhinestone picker tool is for. I can either pick some up with it or I can put some back on here and wipe. But as few stones as it is, it's just going to be easier to pick them up with the picker tool. All right, so I'm just going to move these extra ones right here out of the way. Now I just noticed that a couple of my holes still have the flock in them. Not sure how I missed that before, but I did. Okay, that would have been a whole lot easier to fix. And I wouldn't have messed up my rhinestones if I'd inspected it just a little bit better before I started putting rhinestones in here. But all is well that ends well. So now let's go ahead and do the black diamond. Now I probably have way too many. That's just kind of the way I do it. So we're just going to use the same process. We're going to go in a circular motion, and I really like it when you have a large number of rhinestones together. Number one, it is so blingy and beautiful. And number two, there is something about having stones beside each other that to me makes it easier to brush them in. I guess they bump into each other, fall into place. But I was doing, on my last video of rhinestones, I was doing an outline around the word blessed. And blessed had a ton of rhinestones in it, kind of like the word wonder. And then, of course, the outline of it was just one row, a single row, kind of like my words up at the top of this. And I found that it was so much easier to do the rhinestones when there were a bunch together than when I was just doing an outline. Now I'm getting some of those up there. I don't want to get them mixed together. What some people will do is they'll go ahead and fill in part of their design and tape off the part they don't want disturbed. Then they'll pick up their stones. Then they'll do the next part of the design, put the same hot fix tape down, and grab that next part. Maybe that would have been better, I don't know. In the end, both work. Whatever you prefer, go for it. Okay, so with the extra stones here, I want to put them in a different direction. I don't want to push them up there and get them mixed in. So with these, I'm either going to come straight down or I'll go to a side. And I'll probably have some fall in these words down here. I'll just pick those up before I do my next color. Then I can just use some of these extra ones down here in the letters and move them up to the holes. Now I see I have one extra one in my W, so I'm going to look for a hole and put it there. All right, so I'm just going to fast forward through the rest of this, getting these all situated. Then we're going to move on to the bottom row. All right, we're on the home stretch, so I'm going to do this last couple of words, and then we're going to pick up our design with our hot fix tape. Now here's my hot fix tape, and it has been used before, but you can keep reusing it until it's just not sticky enough to pull up your rhinestones. So I'm just going to make sure that I have this above the entire design, and then I'm going to lay it down gently, but all in one motion. Now I can see some of those rhinestones kind of shifted a little bit, so I'll go back. I'll push them back down into the holes so that I know they're in the right place. And you can easily push through this with your fingernail or some other tool. And then I'm going to go ahead and put something over it just to protect my stones from moving with the amount of pressure I'm using now. And I'm adding more pressure because this hot fix tape has been used. So it's not quite as sticky as it used to be. All right, so part of it is stuck to the table just a little bit. So I want to move that so that later it doesn't pop up and some of my stones go flying. So I'm just going to find a corner and I'm going to start pulling it up, looking to see that all the rhinestones come up. If they don't, okay, so there's one right there that did not come up. So I lay it back down, just put a little more pressure right there, and that time it did. And since I'm having a few that aren't staying down, it may be time to retire this hot fix tape. So I'm just going to pull it off to the side and let it stay on its front side. You don't want the tape to stick to itself. So I like to just kind of pull it over like that. And then until I'm ready to use this, I'll go ahead and put this backing back on. And there's the design. All right, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my shirt. That's going to do two things. It's going to get a really nice smooth finish, and it's going to take any excess moisture out. I have my heat press set at 350, and when I press these, I'm going to press for 12 seconds. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my shirt ready over here just so you can see it a little bit better. My heat press has this pad that comes off, makes it easy to get it ready somewhere else. And then I just focused right here when I did my pre-press. The other thing I did is I went ahead and used a lint roller to remove any excess fibers or lint from this area. Now I want my collar off of the pad so that there's not a lot of pressure being put on that when I press it. And then I want my design about 3 inches down from the collar. Now you want to pick this up instead of just sliding it. When I first started, I was sliding it and it was causing the stones to shift. Now my daughter gave me a t-shirt guide for Christmas, a really inexpensive one that I had picked out. Let me grab that. All right, my shirt's all situated and I have my collar off that pad. So let's go ahead and press this 350 for 12 seconds. All right, so we're going to go right back over to the table with this and see how it turned out. Now you can go ahead and take this off when it's hot. And I know I say this in every video, but go ahead and put this back down in case you can reuse it. I did have some stones coming up, but I might have parts of this that I could salvage. Now that turned out cute. So blingy, so beautiful. Now, when I made this design, I wanted the word wonder to be really what you notice because the message is wonder, go out, do things, discover. I just love this saying, not all who wonder are lost. So the stones are beautiful, they're blingy. Again, this was crushed ice AB. This was black diamond. I love it. So thanks so much for joining me today, and until my next video, bye-bye.